Do you think when you see a veteran college quarterback go to another program, you trust them a little bit more as opposed to somebody who just won the starting job as, say, a freshman or a sophomore?
Oh, I think when you have someone who is established, and particularly if that quarterback is an upperclassman, then you just have that requisite experience. And this is where it's more difficult because, yeah, you have more experience, but also you're learning a new system. So I think it's really quarterback specific. Sam Hartman, if we were talking
Mhm.
about an upperclassman who came in and hadn't really dominated, like DJ Uiagalelei, I think is going to be a fascinating case because he looked great at Clemson as a freshman, took a step back last year, and then got replaced. Right now he's at Oregon State. So will he come in and dominate? I don't know. Or is he going to be one of those guys who dominated early, took a step back, and he'll never really be that guy again? I'm not sure. With Sam Hartman, I think it was an easier projection just because he was so good at Wake Forest. So I think it's quarterback specific in that when you have a known talent and a guy that balls out and a guy that you know can get it done, that's a little bit different than a guy who could get it done, but then maybe he has some disadvantages because he's going to a new system and he didn't get it done initially anyway.
It just feels like a narrative now that we have the revolving door that is the transfer portal because you look top quarterbacks or quote unquote top quarterbacks in college football, most of them are retreads, guys that started off one place and now they're somewhere else. Guys like Michael Pennix Jr., a fifth-year senior, going to be playing for Washington this season.
Mm-hmm.
You see Sam Hartman, like I said, from Notre Dame, Bo Nixon, who got his start at Auburn. Now he's at Oregon as a fifth-year senior. Do you think they also have an upper hand that they're fifth-year seniors?
Yes.
Like some of these guys, like remember Kenny Pickett? He was like 25, it seemed like, at the end of his college tenure. That experience has to count for something, right?
Yeah. Remember when Chris Winkie was at Florida State? Is that too much of an old reference for you? Chris Winkie
No,
was
because
like,
he played baseball, right?
yeah, he was like 26 or 27, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I forget. But there's no question. Now, part of that had to do with him playing baseball, so it's not like he was playing that entire time. But I think physically you're more mature. That has a lot to do with it. But if you've been in a program for a long time and you know the offense, you know the program, you know the guys around you, I think it's absolutely a significant advantage, no question. I would have never guessed. You just never know in the NFL. There's never a can't-miss guy. We always say that, it's a can't-miss. There's no such thing. Just like there's no such thing as a sure bet in betting, there's no such thing as a can't miss prospect. You just never know because injuries are always a real deal, and Trey Lance found that out. Broken index finger as a rookie, ankle injury last year. He's played 4 games in 2 seasons, and then he got beat out by Sam Darnold at 49ers training camp. We know that Brock Purdy is the guy for this season, so the Cowboys make a move. They send a 4th-round pick to San Francisco for Trey Lance. The Niners admitted, you know what? This is a little bit more than we thought we were going to get. But you know how Jerry gets. Oh, I will reclimate him. We'll make him a Cowboy. Old Trey Lance, come on down here. Train under Dak. You can be our quarterback of the future. You like this move for Dallas?
I do, because Trey Lance had to go somewhere. Like, he can't sit there and be the third string quarterback and get 0 reps. You are not going to get better at any walk of life if you are not getting the repetition. And so he wasn't going to get a chance in San Francisco, so he needed to go elsewhere. I think as a backup quarterback, he's a nice addition for the Dallas Cowboys, especially for a team in which Dak Prescott has had some games where he's been hurt for a couple games a season, at least it feels like for the last 3 years. Because remember, from a betting standpoint, I say to myself, okay, Cooper Rush time. It's time to bet on the Cowboys because usually they're getting like 7 points. But isn't that the guy that he beat out, or he'll have to beat out, I guess, for the backup job is Cooper Rush, who's done an all right job. Like, he is a backup quarterback, but the same could be said for Trey Lance because it's not like he did not get a chance in San Francisco. They gave him a ton of chances. I know you say he only played 4 games, but still in practice in the preseason, if Sam Darnold is beating you out for the second
no.
string job,
Yikes.
like that's not boding well for your talents and for your skills. And remember, this was kind of seen as it wasn't like a long shot first round pick, but remember, what did he come out of North Dakota State? Something
Yep.
like that. It's not like he was a surefire prospect coming out of the draft anyway. It's just when you see the measurables, we know he can throw the ball a mile. We know he has the build of an NFL quarterback. So maybe the Cowboys do have something in a reclamation project with Trey Lance. We will have to wait and see, but I do think this is a good move for the Cowboys. You got to have some depth for a team when your quarterback usually misses a couple games a season. What did you think he was going to do? Sit on the bench behind entrenched starter Davis Mills? No, I feel like this was not a surprise.
No, not at all. He's going to be the guy. I'm sort of torn on C.J. Stroud and how good of a pro he's going to be. I think he's going to be just fine. This is where I'm being unduly influenced by media coverage, and I shouldn't be because I'm generally not that person at all. But there was some reports that sort of came out before the draft that maybe he wasn't the guy and he benefited from maybe a weaker schedule or just having the right tools around him at Ohio State. I think the Texans made the right call with him, but this is going to be like just any other rookie in the NFL, whether it's Bryce Young, whether it's Anthony Richardson, whether it's C.J. Stroud. What I find funny is when they say, guess what? We're going with C.J. Stroud. It's like we all knew you were going with C.J. Stroud. That just strikes me as so fun. When the Steelers said last week, guess what? Kenny Pickett is our starter for week 1. I thought we always knew he was going to be the starter for week 1. Same thing for C.J. Stroud. Look at the quarterbacks on that roster. Of course, he's going to be the starter. So it's good to see him take some steps, but that is the role. That is how it goes for a rookie quarterback. It'll be 1 step forward, 2 steps back. But yes, of course he's a starter. Of course.
Right. Why would you spend all that money and trade up
Right.
to get him? Even though I can't remember if they traded up to get him or who is it, Will Anderson? Regardless, they
Both.
spent a lot of money on those picks. So
Mm-hmm.
one would assume that they are going to get the reps because I think that's the bottom line for young quarterbacks is that they're going to make their mistakes, but they have to get the repetition. And I think that's why the Niners had to let go of Trey Lance as well, is that
Yeah.
he's not going to get better by getting no playing time and getting no reps, even the second team reps in practice. So I think what the Texans are going to do is they're going to let CJ Stroud sling it, go in there, get some experience, because this is not a team that's going to be competing for anything anyway. So you might as well try to see the bigger picture. And I think the same goes for Anthony Richardson. Just let him sling it. Let him get the game time experience to become a better quarterback. Because when you see guys with top end potential, if you give him the reps, there is a chance that he could be a franchise quarterback.
Who is your MVP on this Monday?
I am going off the grid here. You're not going to believe it. I'm going with Simone Biles because she just won her 8th U.S. Gymnastics Championship. I know. You're thinking, dude, who cares? You should care because Simone Biles is 26 years old. And I don't know a whole lot about gymnastics. Maybe I could do a cartwheel now. Probably 50-50 shot on that. I don't know, minus 110 both sides. Actually, I take that back. Actually, there's minus money on me falling on my face. But the point is, in gymnastics, being 26, you're aged out. You are aged out. You are not supposed to be 26 and be this good. And remember, she had to step away from the Olympics because she got the twisties. And if you don't know anything about the twisties, read up because they are absolutely horrifying. It's when you're in midair and you completely lose any sort of, you have no idea where you are. You can't sense where you are, and you have no idea where you are in the air or where your body is. So when you lose control like that, you can just fall on your head and break your neck. It's terrifying to read about. But she got through that. She took a break for her mental health. She's back. She looks better than ever, and she dominated like she always does. It wasn't close. She's not talking a whole lot about it. She's just going out and performing. And I remember a lot of people criticizing her when she bowed out of the Olympics because, of course, they have no idea what it's like to flip through the air and lose track of where you are. And here she is. She got through that. She's back at it and dominating. I am going with Simone Biles.
I had a tough decision deciding between the guy from the Little League World Series, because, man, a walk-off home run to win the Little League World Series, isn't this what you dream of? But you got to go with the top dogs at the top competition, and the purse that was, what, $18 million? Viktor Hovland, MVP Monday for me, because this guy has been the king of Sundays. This is when champions are made on the PGA Tour. When you can put it together on Sundays, that is the difference between somebody who is winning, normal tournaments and, hanging on for dear life through moving day through Sunday, as opposed to the stone cold killers, the guys that you are afraid of to be paired up with on a Sunday, because he's had back-to-back Sundays of 61 and 63 en route to 2 straight wins on the PGA Tour. And oh yeah, Viktor Hovland, only 25 years old. Several guys on tour have said that most PGA Tour players are not finished products at age 25, like besides maybe Tiger Woods. Viktor Hovland still has plenty of potential to be even better. I think that is the scariest part. We've seen him go really low in some of these tournaments. So MVP of the weekend has to be Viktor Hovland for me. Look at all that money. And plus, this is the championship for the PGA Tour. Viktor Hovland. Yeah, that's my MVP.